Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Forbes Flash. Thanks for joining us. Filmmaking can be a money-making business. If you make it big enough, it also makes you a star. Take George Lucas, for example. The creator of Star Wars is America's richest celebrity, with a net worth of $5.4 billion, thanks to what he earned when Lucasfilm sold to Disney in 2012. His fellow filmmaker Steven Spielberg is not far behind, with $3.7 billion. Media mogul Oprah rounds out the list of the top three, with $2.8 billion net worth, and no sign of slowing down when it comes to new projects. Moral of the story, keep your friends close and your film school friends closer. This year marked the end of the road for a number of high-profile CEOs, some by choice, others not so much. Our list of the most notable CEO departures isn't comprehensive, but it takes a look at some of the biggest names to vacate the top spot throughout 2018. A few notable names: Kevin Systrom, who left Instagram in September amid alleged tensions with Zuckerberg and Facebook. PepsiCo CEO Indra Nooyi announced she'd be stepping down in October, a big loss for one of big business's few female CEOs. And of course, the most talked about departure, Les Moonves from CBS. While he denied allegations of inappropriate behavior and sexual assault, the board forced him out in September, and it was recently announced that Moonves won't receive a dime of his $120 million severance package he was supposed to get, due to violations of company policy. And now a roundup of some stories you should know about from this past week. Amnesty International has officially determined online abuse against women to be a human rights issue. In a study of tweets over 3 years, human rights researchers and technical experts found an unprecedented amount of online vitriol. Quote, "Our conclusion is that online abuse works against the freedom of expression for women because it gets them to withdraw, it gets them to limit their conversations, and sometimes to leave the platform altogether." There have been efforts made to hold Twitter accountable for hate speech on the platform in the past, so we'll see if a call from a major international human rights organization makes a difference. By now you probably know that Apple plans to expand its presence in Austin, Texas, but is that a good or bad thing? Depends on who you ask. The new billion-dollar campus will initially be home to 5,000 employees in addition to those currently at their Austin location, but eventually the capacity will grow to 15,000. On the pro side, rising home prices and office rents are seen as positive for landlords and investors. For tenants and buyers, though, not so much. In fact, according to a local realtor, Austin is quickly on its way to becoming as overpriced as San Jose. SpaceX is taking another step closer to their plan to send people to Mars within a decade, planning to raise an additional $500 million in a new investment round. According to the Wall Street Journal report, the funds would be raised at a $30.5 billion valuation and are expected to close by the end of this year. So who are the investors? SpaceX's existing investors are joined by Bailey Gifford & Co., which also holds a stake in the Elon Musk-led electric car company Tesla. And while the influx of capital will help fund SpaceX's upcoming super heavy rocket trip around the moon, their eyes remain on the ultimate prize, taking people to and from Mars. Fresh Prince star Alfonso Ribeiro is suing Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite Battle Royale, over his famous dance move, the Carlton. Before you laugh, know that this could have a broad-reaching effect on the entertainment and gaming industries as a whole, if the suits are successful. If single dance moves can be copyrighted, imagine the issues that could arise. Regardless, the suit brings up interesting conversations about creative expression and companies profiting from it. You wouldn't ever guess it by looking at him, but third-generation corn farmer Bill Holst is the world's most successful caviar entrepreneur. Holst, who's been running a scrap metal business for 12 years, is also the single largest investor in Hangzhou Qiandayu Zunlang Sci-Tech, a sprawling sturgeon farm and caviar processing company in eastern China. But that's not all. He also owns some of Hangzhou's competitors, farms in Hungary and Germany that made $8 million last year. Holst had never tried caviar before he heard about the opportunity to buy a bankrupt sturgeon farm in Hungary, and he still doesn't eat much of what he produces. Despite becoming one of the biggest caviar producers in Europe, his modest 5-bedroom in Wisconsin suits a scrapyard operator just fine. According to Amnesty International, a group of government hackers has been targeting supposedly secure email services from the likes of Google and Yahoo over the past 2 years. Most targets are in the Middle East and Africa, and though it remains unclear just where the hackers themselves hail from, the attacks appear to have been ordered by a nation-state in the Gulf region. And, concerningly, many of the targets are human rights defenders and journalists operating in those regions. To get into targets' private messages, hackers work to get around the added two-factor authentication, where an extra one-time code is sent to the account holder's smartphone. So, concerned about being attacked by this advanced phishing technique? Continue to use two-factor authentication and be wary of links asking you to reset your passwords. If things don't look right, they probably aren't. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll be off next week to celebrate the holidays. Hope you have a relaxing and safe time with friends and family. We'll be back in 2019.